I'm tapping in. What's good, y'all? Know we had some minor difficulties last time, so this is kind of a replay, right? So those who kind of tapped in last time, we had some technical difficulties with our live, but we are cool now. Hopefully, everything should be in stereo and live. And man, we appreciate you guys tapping in, man. We cannot do it without you. So those who are watching, make sure you hit the subscription and the notifications button. Those who are watching on YouTube as well, so you don't miss an episode. And even if you do, man, replay is a mug. So that's the thing about live situations. You got to almost act like you got a audience, cool. If not, so what? Because you're delivering for people on the replay. Because people will spend more time with it on the replay. So I'm like, don't trip if you're not here live. If so, interact with your boy. I'll try my best not to throw it off by me staying on course. But yeah, man, it's been one of those weeks, man. It's been 2024 came in with a bang, right? So everybody's kind of juiced up off the Cat Williams thing. And, one of the things I point out that's really super interesting about that whole Cat Williams situation is that when you look at that, you're happy for Cat Williams for being able to get things off of his chest. You're happy for Shannon Sharp for being able to land on his feet and be able to get something respectable going in terms of the views and all that. And and the way he did it was pretty smooth with the alcohol, and that's his brand. And I love everything that them cats is doing. But the one thing that we did notice is that, how did you feel after you watched it or listened to it? How did you feel? That's that's the $1 million question. How did it make you feel after you consumed it? Right? Because things that are really good for your soul will have you excited and wanting to tell people about it. Now, one of the things that I did wrong was I got excited and I told people about it, and I don't know if I was transferring positive feelings to them, right? I don't know if that was the case. So, um, I I felt, I felt kind of bad in a sense, not in the sense of, like I shouldn't have did it, but because people should be informed. But at the same time, I'm like, man, I can spread other stuff that has a little bit more juice, right? Because after I watched it, I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't feel great, right? It's just like ear hustling on gossip, man. You don't feel good afterwards, right? It's just one of those things. You don't feel great afterwards. So yeah, we want to be nosy. Yeah, we want to get involved in what other people are doing, and yeah, we want to hear the juice. It's just one of those things. Like, it's attractive. Gossip is attractive, but the challenge with it is it makes you feel icky afterwards, right? Like, what do I do with this? You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing about information. Like, what do I do with this? And one of the things that I hope to do with this podcast that we have going, and that's what I'm saying. I don't want to sound like I'm not supporting somebody else's podcast. I love what Shannon's doing. I love the he had a story about this African MMA fighter on, which was fantastic. I highly encourage. Even the Cat Williams is inspiring. So the thing about negative stuff or perceived negative things is that what you can do is you can pull things out of it. You don't necessarily have to agree with everything. You can take things out of that. Like, I got a lot out of the Cat Williams interviews that was inspiring. Right? There was a lot of different points that were super inspiring about believing in yourself, about paying it forward, about giving people their flowers when you see them. There was a lot of jewels that he spit too, and everything, and that's the one thing I came to conclusion on was that God, even when it seems like it's a story that may not necessarily be in your interest or negative. There's always good in everything. You can pull something out of that, and I was able to pull something out of that, and I was like, okay, I got you. You know what I'm saying? Even you got me watching this, but I pulled something out of it. But it also showed me that people are more inclined to listen to gossip than stuff that will actually benefit them. And it's hard for me, and I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you guys. It's difficult for me to stay focused. You have the phone, you have all these different things, TV, all these different things that are really dying for your attention. You know what I mean? And how do we stay focused? How do we stay in the book? So It's difficult for me too. I'm not asking you guys or telling you guys or suggesting anything that I wouldn't do myself, right? So I'm going through this stuff as I come on. This is more therapeutic for me because I'm able to kind of express myself to say, hey man, I'm going through the same thing. And you know what I mean? I struggle. I struggle with positivity. I'm trying to stay focused when I got a bunch of stuff in front of me. I don't know what my tests are. I keep running into the same thing. So I struggle just like you guys. I just wanted to put that moment of transparency out there because it's really important for me to tell you guys that, like, I wake up on some bullshit too. You know what I'm saying? I go through some BS too. It's nothing, I'm not immune to anything. You know what I'm saying? I think that that's the one thing I took away from Nipsey Hussle. He was like, man, I went through every emotion that you go through, every one of them. And I feel him, jealousy, anger, rage, sorrow, sympathy, you name it. You go through the whole spectrum of emotions when you're trying to pursue your dreams. I don't know if it's the enemy, but I'm pretty sure God has something to do with it too, to make sure that you can handle all this stuff if you choose to go where it is you choose to go. Because basically, what he's telling you is that there's shit that comes along with that. You got to have thick skin. You're going to have people hating on you. You're going to have people close to you turn on you. You're going to have all these things that I'm training you for now. You know what I mean? You're going to go through them now. So I'm training you now. It sucks while you're going through it, right? Go listen to the episode, Embrace the Suck. But it sucks as you're going through it because you can't figure out, why am I going through it? What's the lesson? All you know is, man, this shit is BS. I can't get past it. But that's when you got to go deep down inside and you got to dig in and figure out, like, what's happened to me in my past that I can apply to this certain situation, because I know I already have the experience. I know I do. God prepared me for everything that I'm going through right now at some point in previous time. So what am I supposed to be going through? What lesson am I supposed to be paying attention to now? Oh, let me dig into my notes. That's why it's so important to document your journey, right? Because you never know when you're going to have to rely on those notes in order to comprehend something that's going on in your life right now. You have no idea. But no experience is wasted. None. Even the ones that are perceived to be wasted aren't wasted experiences. They're not. And that's the exciting thing. Like, everything I'm going through, I'm going to use at some point in time in my life. If I pay attention to the right things, I can put this in my tool bag and become like a Denzel and know when to go into that tool bag. So that's just kind of a precursor to what's going on. Stress, right? And I didn't say any particular order of this episode. This is where stress comes in, because that's going to come in, right? I've been told over and over again, stress, this is what's killing people. This is one of the most difficult things that I've ever done in my life. And I'm at the highest stress point in my life. And I'm 47 years old and I'm black. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have a low salt diet. So these things I got to start worrying about. I can't be stressing all the time. So I have to figure out things in order to help me, right? So I'm practicing more of my breathing. I'm exercising way more than I've done last year. I'm instituted jump rope. I told you guys, I think I mentioned that on a previous podcast, but I've instituted jump rope, which is keeping me light and keeping me, you know what I'm saying, on my toes and jumping. And it's hard. I go through this high HHT, high intensity thing, but it's still something that's challenging me. So I'm going through stuff right now that I've, like I said, I've never done before, and it's tapping into different parts of my, I want to say, reserve, in order for me to exist, because there's no one to really to talk to. That's the crazy part about it. You got to go to God because you run out of people to talk to. There's only certain, it becomes to a certain point where people can feel you. Outside of that, you just start talking gibberish to them because they're like, man, I don't know what you're talking about because I'm not experiencing that. And our journeys are so unique that it's going to be hard to find somebody that can relate to you, especially when you hit a corner that they're not going to ever hit, or they may hit a different one, right? Because everybody has their unique journey. So the only person that you're forced to go to is God. That's the only one that could really answer for you. And he says nothing. Right? He just delivers, right? He puts it in different messages. That's why it's so important to pay attention. TV, if you're watching it, you may get a message from God. If it's text message, you may get a message from God. Somebody posting on Facebook may be a message from God. So if you ask for it, this is one of my first goals is pray for everything that I want every day. That's it. That's a difficult one. So I want people to succeed. I want to succeed myself. I want my family to be healthy. These are all minor things that you think this is what I'm asking God for on a day-to-day basis to get through some of the stuff, to finish the restaurant. This and you see nothing gets answered immediately. Nothing. I mean, nothing. So it's one of those things to where you like, damn, do I believe it's true? And there's times where you start to second guess yourself. Like, is this really going to happen? Is this actually going to take place? Damn good question. I don't know. Right. But you got to have the faith. And they talk about the faith of a mustard seed. Not can dig that because mustard seeds are small. You just got to have an inkling of faith and to keep going. That's the only thing you have. You can't retreat. There's no other. The boats are burned. Nowhere to go. Can't retreat. You got to go through it. You got to go through it. It's one of those things you can't avoid, right? It's like walking through a fire, right? You're going to get burned, but you're also going to get cleansed, right? You're going to get your mind right. There's certain things that are going to happen in that process. Going through the same thing. I had to stop and pause and take a breath today because I was just getting overwhelmed, mollywopped, and boo-bam from every other angle. And I still had to go live. I almost felt like Kevin Hart after the Cat Williams thing, right? When he was on TV, he felt awkward. But I'm like, nah, this is the time where I got to dig in. This is where the professional stuff comes in. You got to deliver in spite of, man. You're going to have challenges, right? That were designed specifically to stop something that you're really trying to do, right? Like this, I could be changing lives today. God knows that. So does the enemy. Let me throw everything I can at you to stop you from going live, or at least not give it the same energy that you were going to give it. Let me see if I can take some of that pizzazz out that ass. Right. And that's what the enemy does. He's trying to get you unfocused. If I can just get you to focus me over here, over here, over here. Hey, 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 you won't see your opportunity. You'll miss your opportunity because you're sitting there focused on the enemy doing this stupid shit. And then he just disappears. He's gone. Oh, I'm gone, man. I was just playing. You motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So you like, damn, I missed my opportunity looking at this stupid shit. And you start getting mad at yourself, right? Man, damn. Realizing that it was just a smoke screen, it was somebody playing around with you, wasn't nothing there. But it took your attention away from your opportunity just long enough for you to miss it. And that's what I have to learn. I got to quit paying attention to the stuff that does not matter, the stuff that is not related to my dreams, the things that are keeping me off balance, right? There's these small things that we think that we're not even really paying attention to, that the enemy's like, I still got him. You know, he want to have 10 hooks in you. You got to start slowly but surely taking them out of you. But he'll try to keep one on the low, one that you love. Oh, I got a hook in him over here. As long as I can keep it like this, I have him. And that's when it's so important to go into what this episode is about today. This episode is a replay of goal setting and the power of your personal syllabus, right? So last time you guys caught me a little bit of it when I was talking about that goal setting. Goals are done. Poster board, real basic. You may have seen the graphic, right? Real basic. You start and it just starts to turn into a symphony, right? You start to think, you start to jog your mind, you start to think of things that you want to do, things that you want to accomplish. Maybe something that you want to buy. Whatever the case may be, you have to write it down. It is so important to write it down. If you don't write it down, the universe says, man, you are kidding. You're kidding. You're just playing. Look at him. He's playing. He's not serious. So you have to write it down. And what your personal syllabus is, I'm putting on my professor hat. What your personal syllabus is basically your class, right? Your lifetime class of what you want to accomplish when, what's due, right? So recently I'm going through one of the benefits about being a professor is you have access to these classes. You can set up mock classes just to test them out and kind of look at the software, look at the assignments, and you could basically set up a class for yourself. And this is what you have to do with your life. Let me back up because I always said it's not about me telling you guys what to do. It's about me suggesting some of the things in my life that may work for you. So what I do is I look in and say, what do I need to accomplish? What is this? What is my course objective? What what is my overall objective? You need to do X, Y, Z, right? So, for example, I keep telling you guys about the research part. So, for example, I need to do research, right? So, okay, so what do I need to do? You need to partner with somebody first, right? That's your first thing. You start to look at what you need to accomplish. I need to partner with somebody that has a PhD that is doing active research. I need to learn a little bit more about the process. I need to understand a little bit more about theory. I need to do, and you have these things that you have laid out. So as you go through the progression, I already know, like, say, for instance, moving towards, I got to take the GMAT. So at night, what am I doing? Studying with the Khan Academy, statistics, probability, everything related to that, algebra 2, reasoning, things like that are on the GMAT, right? And I'm pretty good on the literature side. That's not necessarily a weakness. Math isn't a weakness, but it's something that I definitely need to work on. So at night, what am I doing? 1 hour minimum, Khan Academy. And it's easy for me to transfer that feeling to my kids too, because if they see dads doing it, they're a lot more inclined to do it themselves. So with that, spend 2 hours doing Khan Academy. All right, what else can I do? Next thing, and you start to set these things out and put dates behind them. Just set up a date with my potential mentor. All right, that's boom, doing that on such and such date. Gonna make the trip, spend the time, do what I have to do. Then you have to set these things up line by line, bullet by bullet, so that you can say, okay, here's what I want to accomplish. Here's my overall large goal. Here's the tactical things that I'm going to do on a day-to-day basis to accomplish this. This is what I'm going to do. And you have to stay focused, right? Because it's really difficult. You're going to be distracted by everything under the sun. I promise you. You're not a lot of times you're not even going to be able to finish your goal setting. You're going to have somebody bust in there. You're going to have somebody call. There's going to be the TV's going to go louder. It's going to be everything you can to think of is going to distract you. Let me give you a heads up. So don't let it happen on your way. If you are making a move and you say, D, I got you. I'm taking your advice. I'm about to go slide down to Walgreens or Rite Aid. I'm going to go get the poster board, grab me a Sharpie, dot, dot, dot. The checkout person is going to be a punk ass, right? I'm just telling you, just prepare yourself as you start to move closer towards God. You're going to have resistance, right? The universe is rumbling. People, the enemy's like, shit, I see you making your move. Da, 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 I'm about to lose another one. All these things are going to happen. So what do you have to do? You got to stay focused. You got to put your tools around. You got to have your head directly focus on that. Okay, I know, and start to play games with it, because when the resistance comes, you can't resist the resistance, right? So you might as well just embrace it because it's coming, and you got to know who it's coming from. Laugh it off. Try not to get into a bickering match with somebody, because that can happen when you're on your way to pursue something that has to do with your greatness. You're gonna get cut off in traffic. You're gonna get random people talking shit. All this type of stuff happens. Just prepare yourself. But if you have your syllabus, you know what you're supposed to do. Just like a student, right? They know it's Saturday night, but I know I got a quiz. You know it's Saturday or such and such. Have you done XYZ? You know it's such and such. Have you been to the gym yet? Now you know it's such and such. And when you have these things that you have to do on a day-to-day basis, on a weekly basis, you make them part of your life. They become part of your life. This is what I have to do. This is not something that I don't know. You don't have to drag yourself to school when you're motivated, do you? So when you're motivated behind whatever it is you're doing, whether it's a business, whether it's going back to school, which I highly encourage, always be reading. Man, do not stop reading. Promise you that, man. People who say I don't read, that figure it out. Shit. Because everything you want is inside of a book. Whether it's from an audible standpoint, you can listen to books. That's fine. But pause when you come across a word that you don't understand. And I still encourage people to read physical books, because the word selection, a lot of times we just make an assumption on a word and we'll breeze over it, because in the larger context, you know what I'm saying? In the larger context, we can figure out what that word means. But when you're reading, you sit down and you take a pause, or get one of these. Oh, you guys can't see it. Where is it? This works too. This is really good. And I'm gonna get another one for the garage, because when I'm sitting there, I want to be able to, hey, what does this mean? and it'll give you the answer right then and there and send you something in terms of a link to your actual phone. So you can look even further, right? So right now I'm reading about, I'll share it with you guys. I'm reading a book about tacos, about the history of tacos in America. And right now we just got past the chili queens of San Antonio and the tamale kings of Chicago. So I'm getting into stuff, but I read this stuff, and this is why I say always be reading, because I read this stuff always to give context and inspiration. Man, I promise you, I promise you, nothing's done me better in my life than reading. I got the shirts. I wear shirts. Always be reading. People are like, man, you got to be a teacher. But I stress that it's really, really important, right? It's helped my vocabulary tremendously. I understand a lot more words than I've done in the past, right? Oh yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Make plans for you. Have to, homie. You have to make plans for. That's my thing. Everything that I have now was planned. Everything. This was all planned. Everything. None of this stuff was happened just random. I just happened to fall into it. All this stuff was strategic. Wrote it down. You got to see. I got poster boards from 5, 6 years ago. This is not something I just started. And before on my poster board was my MBA. Got that. Now I'm PhDs on my poster board. It's taking a little longer, much more complicated degree, but I'm getting that. What you writing down, homies? You know what I'm saying? What you putting on your board, dog? Whatever you put on there, you're gonna get. D, I ain't even got a board. Done. Done. You know what I'm saying? If you do get some, cool. But more than likely, wasn't anything you planned for, so will you respect it the same? Right? These are the questions you have to ask yourself. You dig? So if you just happen to go, oh man, I wasn't even planning. But what about if it's something you're planning on? Right? What if it's in your syllabus and you do it and you get good, not necessarily, you might not grade yourself on it, but you did do a good job. It's going to lead to other classes, right? They got a thing in college called prerequisites. You got to have this class before you take this class. And sometimes in life, there are a lot of prerequisites. You can't get to this without going through this. You can't go to this stage without stopping here. You can't talk about struggle if you haven't had your heart broken. You can't talk about loss if you haven't lost a loved one, a business, something that was precious to you. These things are all going to build building blocks within you. You have no idea. They're going to make you so strong. I promise you that. So embrace certain things that are part of the course. These things we can't get around, right? Homework, quizzes, exams, studying, presentations. In life, you're going to have all those as well. Presentations, you're going to have to show up and show out at some point in time and show who you are, right? Quizzes, you're going to have quizzes and tests on a regular basis every single week. You're going to be tested on what you were supposed to learn. The funny part about God, though, is you do not get the lesson until you get the test, after the test. So you're not going to figure out what the hell you learned. What was that I just learned? He'll let you know. It'll come in due time, right? And a lot of times our minds are way too immature and not advanced enough to figure out what he's doing at all, right? We get some of the stuff later. We get some of it. Like, oh, but it's way too complex, dog, because there's so many different things that need to be aligned for our thing to happen. One, we need to be in sync. We got to be prepared for to receive it. Right. So no matter what, you can get a degree. So you can go through your syllabus and go through classes, this and that. But if you're not mentally ready to hit that job market, mentally ready to hit whatever market you're pursuing, good luck. Right. The degree is not going to matter. So you have to be mentally aligned. I have to be mentally mature. I have to be emotionally mature. Right. I have to be street mature. Right. To not react and respond on things that can get me locked up. Because I know that that's a possibility too, right? So I'm trying not to put myself in those positions, right? I try not to get too down on myself and compare myself to other individuals because I know my story is unique. Even though the enemy keep putting all these fools in front of me to make me think otherwise, I know my story is unique and I know it's going to be delivered when it's supposed to. That's tough to have that mentality. But that's the one that we need the most, right? We gotta understand that it's still coming our way, dog. Right? But in the meantime, what can we learn? What can we do in the meantime to still advance that? Right? Because you can talk all that shit you want. If you ain't moving on nothing, it doesn't matter. So what are you learning? Right? And sometimes this is the interesting thing. We get our best ideas when we walk away, when we go do something else, when we're relaxed. Right. So you hear people all talking all the time, man, grind, 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 18-hour grind. I'm gonna grind, grind, grind. Man, that ain't it. That ain't it. We talked about that a couple, I don't know how many episodes ago. That ain't it though. You got to attract those certain things. You got to be in a mental state to where it comes your way. I was telling my mom that earlier today. I was like, man, we ain't got to do that. We just wait for stuff to come our way. We got to do our job, right? Which is to do right in this universe. But at the same time, we don't have a lot of control with how that's going to come our way. The how is that's way too much, man, for us. So we just need to figure out the why. Why do I want it? Why? What's it going to do for me? What's it going to do for them? What's it going to do for my family? What kind of trajectory is it going to put us on? Period. But we need everything is thing about life. You need pencils and paper, homie. Period. You need pencils and paper. Pencils, right, to write shit down. You're going to get ideas. You're going to need to write stuff down. You need to make lists. You're going to need to make to-dos. You're going to need to write affirmations. Right? You're going to need to write it down. You got to get a pencil and paper. I don't care what it is. Now, goals, they ain't going to work on those small 8 by 11. You got to put them big. You got big dreams and big goals, put them on a big-ass piece of paper. Quit playing with yourself. Put them on another piece of paper, big, where you can see it. And anybody who doesn't believe it, let them not believe it. Once they start to talking that, man, what is this? You don't know what this is? Man, should we be friends any longer? Right? We should understand that we on the same path or going in the same direction. Other than that, you got pull versus push. Right? You got somebody trying to pull you, right? Why is I got to pull the homies? I shouldn't have to pull the homies, right? They should be pushing to get up here and holler at me. Man, I'm pushing, D. I'm getting here. Me too, man. I'm trying to get to the next level as well. Come on. Come with me, man. Push harder so you can catch up with me, and then we can push together. We can go find out this shit on our own. That's what I'm on, homie. You know what I'm saying? But we can't do it without our goals. So whenever I start off the new year, whenever I'm in this starting the new year off, we started off with a bang, right? Belief. Let me write this down with confidence. It's going to happen. All this shit. You feel what I'm saying? What's up, Joe? All this stuff is gonna happen. So I'm on it, man. I'm on it, but I'm in a fight, yo. So I need somebody to talk to. That's why I came here today. I don't care who responding. It don't matter. I feel your energy through this anyways. I don't care, homie. I needed somebody to chop it up with. I needed to get some stuff off my chest. I'm going through stress, man. This is one of the hardest things I've ever done in my entire life. Harder than school and all that. And then after that, I'm about to go into some even harder shit. Why I do this to myself? Glutton for punishment, I guess. But what I'm really doing is I'm showing the homies a way. I'm walking down a path that I ain't never been down. I don't know if anybody been down either. But I'm leaving the crumbs. I'm leaving the crumbs. I'm leaving notes. I'm video blogging. So this is all documented. I'm telling y'all everything I'm doing on my journey. Everything. Like laying it out, whatever you want to know. That's to show, not to brag, not to boast. That's to show the homies it's possible too. I am nothing. What E40 said, I'm everything but nothing. Right? And that's how I am. I'm like, half the time I don't even want to talk because I'm like, I don't want to sound like I'm just running my mouth. That's not what I'm doing, but I know I need to talk to somebody that sound like me. So I really be talking to myself. Right? I can hear myself in my speakers. So who you think it's y'all just chilling with me. But I'm really having a conversation with myself because I need it. Right? Sometimes you can't get to therapy the same way you want to. So you got to be therapeutic to yourself. You got to figure out what you need to hear. Right? You got to talk to yourself. You got to find like-minded homies too. Like, hey, homie, you know what I'm saying? We about to pour. All right, yeah. You know what I mean? That confidence, not the That doubt. You didn't talk to certain people you talk to, you already doubting yourself, they're gonna give you a little bit more. Like, oh shit, you doubting yourself. You need an ounce? Let me slide you an ounce more doubt. That ain't what I need, homie. Be quiet or get on board and be quiet. Unless you got something positive to say. And I've learned that too. Be quiet. You know what I mean? If I don't have anything positive to say, even if I'm saying it to somebody else, even if it's truth, it doesn't make me feel good. And I'm all for things that are making me feel good. So criticism, being right about somebody, spreading that stuff ain't all good for your bones, homie. So that's why I'm trying to fall back from that. So I try to stay away from the gossip. That's why I touched on the Cat Williams for a second, but switched it over to the more positive note because I felt that. I felt sticky and icky once I watched. I'm like, I don't feel good. And we don't even, a lot of times we don't pay attention to those things, right? When we get around individuals, when we listen to certain songs, we watch certain things, when we read certain things, watch TikTok or read certain things in terms of gossip, those things don't make us feel good. We need to move towards things that give us that feeling of joy, right? That exhilarance, that man, I can go conquer the world type conversation. And that's how I want y'all to feel when y'all leave here. I can go conquer the world. Or at least I know somebody out there with me trying to do it too. So I ain't out there by myself. D out here trying to do the same shit. Maybe I'll run into him. I'm glad he leaving notes because shit, I thought I was out here dolo too. And that's the thing. You think you out here dolo by yourself, and it's like, nah, some soldiers out here. We just out here scrapping, fighting our own battles ourselves. But this is the place. This is the place where y'all tap in. This is the place where y'all come get that energy. Go look at my old videos, right? I got over 100 videos. Go look at them. They ain't just bullshit. They is passion behind that, homie. And it's what I was going through. And God don't take his soldiers through stuff for nothing. So feel that. Go watch the other interviews with Larry White, Jay Prince, Ellis, Dijon, Terrence. You watch those. That's that shit. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna get you 38 million views, but it's gonna have you feeling better than you feel if you did watch that type of stuff. So that's what I'm saying. I ain't trying to push my status. That's why I'm here. It's not. I don't have dreams of being the podcaster of the year. That's just not. I'm just trying to talk to the homies, and more importantly, talk to myself because I need it the most. You dig? So, man, that will conclude our weekly tap in for this week, man. Our book, I got a few books. So right now I'm reading two books about food. One's called High on the Hog, and the other one is called, let me see. I'll show y'all one in the camera, and then the other one I'll show you guys. It's called Taco, and it's the history of tacos. So that's what I had mentioned to you guys that right now I'm in. I just got finished with the queen, the chili queens of San Antonio. Chili's a Mexican dish. It's not country. It's not Texas. It's a Mexican dish. Chili. And matter of fact, it's chili con carne. They try to drop the con carne to take it away to make it sound like it's not a Mexican dish. So that's what I'm reading right there. I'm trying to show you guys. I'm just pulling it up right now, but it's amazing. Where is it? Where's the cover? There we go. So this is the cover. Taco USA by Gustavo Ayano, a writer for LA Times. And the other book that I am reading, that book is really good though so far. It's dope. And um what I'm trying to find out is I'm looking for stories of success in food through the harshest times. You know what I'm saying? They were talking about when they were, because I couldn't figure out how tamales got to Mississippi and stuff like that. So I started digging in and found this book, and it was dope. And dudes start talking about the history of Taco Bell, and they got this original Mexican food where he got his recipe that's in San Bernardino, and I'm going next week, a couple weeks. I'm gonna go slide on them. So that's one of the books I'm reading. The other book that I'm reading, or I listened to, I just finished this. It's called High on the Hog. I might have shown you guys in this past. I'm gonna just pull it up right now if you guys can bear with me. But it's really good. Really good. That's my son got that. So all right, let me share this with you guys. Always try to give y'all a little bit of game. I think this is the most important part of the because I'll just be running my mouth, dog. I'm telling you, homie. But I think that and I tell my students that all the time. I'm like, hey man, the stuff I'm talking about, you guys can go get this off YouTube. I said, but the book selection, I said that I think that right there is the value because I share my books with them too. You feel me? So this is it right there. High on the Hog, a culinary journey from Africa to America. And this in this particular book, one of my favorite parts is Pigfoot Mary. She made $1 million off of selling pig feet in Harlem, off a pot and a basket, right? She got a basket. She went and cooked the big feet at somebody else's location, at somebody else's kitchen, put them in a pot and rolled around and sold pig feet. Became a millionaire, she partnered with the guy who had the newsstand where she sold the pig feet, and they ended up buying a bunch of real estate. Man, the book is full of jewels. I mean, one of the best books I've ever listened to in my life. And it talks about mainly about African American and blacks. So that's why I want to read the other one, the Taco USA, because I just don't want to be a resource just talking about black and brown. We got a long history together. You know what I'm saying? So I want to be really clear on that and pay homage to, and especially I'm coming from San Diego. I love tacos, dog. And I've always wanted to know the history. I think the actually the first taco was a roll taco on Olivero Street or something like that. I gotta hopefully he talks about the history of that in there. But anyways, I gotta date on Olivera Street too. A couple museums I gotta hit down there. But yeah, dog, that's what I'm on. That's why I say I'm always reading because I want to be a fountain of information for whoever wants to drink. And they can come to this video, they can come to my old stuff eons and eons from now and be just as good as, say, for instance, a Brian Tracy or Zig Ziglar, who's no longer with us. That dude sent me books in a pen. I'll never forget that. I wrote his company, told him I was before I got caught up. I was reading his books before I went. They sent me a whole bunch. They sent me like 2 or 3 of them while I was in there. Solid. Zig Ziglar, dog, you don't have to say nothing else. But yeah, that will conclude the weekly tap in for this week. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Watch it on the replay, send it to somebody. Hopefully they motivate you guys. But make sure you write them goals down. Get that syllabus to go along with it. That's the tactical part about it. And if you don't know what a syllabus is, Google syllabus and get a blank syllabus and fill it out. Right? What's your course objectives? What would you like to accomplish? I want to open a store. Okay. What do you need to do tactically? Okay, I need to scope a location. Okay, that's chapter 1. I need to do X, Y. Okay, that's chapter 2. I need to do chapter 3. And you go to your syllabus on a regular basis until that class is done, my brother, and graduate that ass. Tapping out.